Hope you had a great day today, or you're having a great day today. I'm reaching. I'm reaching today from right from the office because I want to make sure I have this conversation as promised yesterday. Okay, before we go straight into what we need to do, I'm just completing my setup just to make sure everything is fine. Yep, we are almost there. So perfect. Today, we won't as discussed yesterday. We'll be talking about clarity is a gift. Clarity, the topic is clarity is a gift, but it can hurt. Clarity is a gift, but it can hurt. What do I want to gain from this today? What's my goal? So if you're going to ask me, hey Matt, what's your goal for having this conversation this time of the day? My goal actually is to help people understand, help them normalize, and help them carry the pain that follows awareness, right? Without rushing to fix it. We've been having this conversation for the past, for this month. We've been having different series. So the series we started yesterday was learning to live with the truth you see. So yesterday we decided to start with learning to live with the truth you see. And we started off on a very high note yesterday, and today we want to continue on that. The title for the discussion today is Clarity is a gift, but it can hurt. So you're now like, hey, Matt, you mean you've been talking about clarity all this while? You're now saying clarity can hurt? That's exactly what I just said. Clarity is a gift, but clarity can hurt. It's a big one for me to even walk through when I started walking through this, but I thought it is something that we need to hear. There's a time when the gift doesn't feel like blessing. Today is not about answers. Today is about permission, all right? Today's talk is not about answers. It's about permission. Permission to feel what clarity actually feels like, okay? Because when people talk about clarity, they talk about it like it's exciting. People, oh, you need to be clear with what you're doing. You need to have clarity. A lot of people talk about it as if it's exciting, like it's totally freeing. It will just free you up. Hello, thank you for joining. Please let us know where you're joining from. Thank you. You think clarity will just free you up. You think like clarity is empowering. And sometimes it is. But sometimes clarity hurts. Clarity also hurts. And nobody wants you about that part. There's a version of clarity that doesn't feel like relief. It feels like weight. All right? You finally understand why things are the way they are. And instead of feeling energized, you feel quiet. You feel still, you feel heavy, and you start wondering, why does seeing clearly feel worse than not knowing? Yesterday we did say it will get to a point where sometimes you now know where you stand. Thank you so much, Gina. You now know where you stand, all right? You know how things are going to go. You know where you are today. You know where you're expected to be, all right? You know your second point you get into. And it becomes hard. It becomes difficult. So we're trying to look more into that today, our topic now is that clarity is a gift, but clarity can hurt. Why is clarity called a gift? Let's start here. Clarity is a gift, but not because it feels good. Not because clarity feels good. It's a gift because it tells the truth. Clarity tells the truth. It's not because it feels good. It's a gift because it makes you understand the truth. And truth doesn't negotiate with comfort. All right? Truth doesn't negotiate with comfort. Thank you so much. I see all of you. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining. Truth doesn't negotiate with comfort. Clarity removes confusion, but it also removes fantasy. When we started talking about this series, I made mention that a big part that we need to look into is removing fantasy. A lot of us live in what I call la la land. You live in wishful thinking. So this is a new year. You just expect things will work without you planning for things to work. Like somebody says it's going to happen. I'm like, how is it going to happen? What have you done about it? Or what are you going to do about it? Or what are you doing about it? And there's a lot of confusion when before you get to the middle of the year and towards the end of the year, you're like, oh, it didn't work. Or you run into the game of what do you call it, New Year resolutions. I did a video on New Year resolutions on my channel. I said New Year resolution, myth or fact. Is this a fact? Does it help us? All right. Now clarity removes all that confusion, but it also removes fantasy. Clarity removes false hope. You know, we like to live in a world where we like to feel okay, we like to feel that somebody is telling us the fact, even when the person is lying to us. That's false hope. A lot of humans like to remain there. We just like to stay in the world of familiarity because we don't even want to know the truth. Clarity helps you remove false hope. It removes the version of yourself you were emotionally attached to. That is a big one also. There are so many of us, we get so used to ourselves, a version of ourselves, that we just let go. We push back any change that has been made. We push it back. All right. Clarity helps you remove that. That's why clarity sometimes can feel like a loss. Clarity can feel like a loss. You don't lose anything physical, for sure. There's nothing you lost that is physical. You lost an idea. You lost an idea. Clarity makes you lose an idea of how things might magically work. So that is you living in the la la land. Oh, things will work because it's a new year. Things will work because we just changed calendar date. And I told you in other lives that a new year is just a change of calendar date. It does not change into your life if you don't put things in place. Clarity helps you remove the idea of someone who eventually you think might eventually become. So you hear people say, what gotta be. Not in this world. Clarity makes you see that what gotta be is not in this world. It's not going to happen. You need to have plans in place for things to happen. Clarity helps you lose the idea of who you could stay, who you could become without changing. A lot of us think that, oh, Matt, I'm at this point in my life where I don't think I need change. Whatever you're saying, I don't care about it. I'm okay with my life like this. No, you're not okay simply because that is the information you have. That is what you know. So clarity helps you remove that idea. And even when these things are lost, though it is not real, it's not physical, an idea is still an idea. So clarity helps you take that off. And loss always hurts. Loss always hurts because we are human, even when what you lost is not real. Now, there's a point I was looking at. The pain of seeing what you've been carrying. A lot of us, when things now become clear, like I did say in my live yesterday, so if you're not subscribed to my channel, kindly subscribe. You see a lot of videos on these things I'm talking about. When things now become clear, one of the most painful part of clarity is realizing how long you have been carrying something you shouldn't have to. It's a big, big pain. Now you're now clear. There is clarity. Oh, Matt, I know what I need to do. One of the most painful part is you realize that you've been carrying all these things all along. Like, I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. You now see how much emotional weight you have normalized. Emotional weight, it is now normal to you because that's what you did. How much responsibility you took that wasn't yours. All right? How much excuses you made for situations that were quietly draining you. I talked about these things in the previous video. And suddenly you're not proud of your endurance anymore. Are you in this state? This is what we call the pain of seeing what you've been carrying. You're tired. Clarity doesn't just show you what's wrong. Clarity shows you what you have survived. Okay? It doesn't just show you what is wrong. And survivor leaves residue. I've always said on this channel, there's the law of cause and effect. If you cause something to happen, even if you change, the effect will also come to pass. So clarity, as survivor, leaves residue. Survivor will show you things that didn't work out, that you used to live, the kind of life that you used to live. That is why survivors show up as sadness you can't explain. You're just sad, you can't explain it. Or anger that surprises you. You're like, is this me? Did I actually live like this? Or grief that feels late. Exhaustion that even when you rest, you can fix it. You're exhausted. Even when you rest, you can't fix it. This isn't weakness, though. I'm here to tell you today that this is not weakness. This is the bill that is coming due to long endurance. This is what you need to pay for, all right? Now, why is it that people feel guilty for hurting after clarity? So people think I shouldn't hurt. Many people feel ashamed of the pain. Many people feel ashamed of the pain when they now see what they've carried all along. They now see they've had to endure all along, and that doesn't belong to them. They say things like, "I should be grateful." Yeah, people say I should feel relieved. At least I know now, all right? But gratitude and grief can coexist. Both of them can coexist. You can be thankful for clarity and still mourn what it cost you to get there. Oh, yeah, that is true. You can be thankful for clarity and still mourn what it cost you to get there. You can appreciate awareness and still hurt over how long it took. Oh, yeah. Clarity doesn't erase the emotional debt of the past. No way. Clarity will not erase the emotional debt of the past. That was a debt, it still continues. It will remain. It just stops you from adding new charges. So what happens is that clarity will not erase the emotional debt of the past. Clarity stops you from adding new charges. So you don't build more debt into what you have going forward. But the ones you accrued from the past, you're still going to pay for it. So if you're feeling pain after clarity, you're not regressing, you're actually processing. You're actually seeing things the way they were that you didn't see all this while. Now, there's a part, once somebody reached out to me and was talking about, "Hey Matt, why is it that at the beginning it doesn't feel as if I'm actually clear?" It is simply because clarity breaks illusion before it builds strength. The first thing clarity will do, when you get to the point you're like, "Hey, I can now see clearly. Oh, I've been living in the world of illusion all this while. I've been living in the world of denial all this while. So this is who I am today." What happens is that this is who you are. You now know who you are, and you now know where you're going to. You actually even know what you need to do in between. There is a problem, which I always call the transition phase. Transition phase. In the transition phase, in one of my videos, I talked about understanding the seasons you're in. Please, if you have not seen that, go watch that on my YouTube channel. Understanding the seasons you're in. One of the phase is transition phase, which is the toughest part. In transition phase, you left what you used to be. Where you're going to is not even clear. But you know that what you used to be is no longer going to happen. Now you are still in the middle. That phase, if care is not taken, that is where a lot of people drop the ball after clarity. A lot of people make the mistake of going back after clarity. Because now they're clear. Now they know what they need to do. So they leave a phase, but now they're not where they're supposed to be. Right? This is where most people panic. A lot of people panic at this point because they feel exposed. All right? They feel exposed. They feel raw. They feel unarmored, as if you're now in a fight without armory. You feel so exposed. They don't know who they are without denial. Because they used to live in a world of denial, right now they don't know who they are without denial anymore. And they haven't built the next version yet. So they are still in between what used to happen and where they need to get to. This is a very fragile season, I'll tell you, friends. It's a very, very fragile season. And fragile season requires gentleness, not force. If you apply force, things will break. So what it requires is gentleness. If you rush here, you fracture yourself. That is the truth. If you rush at this point, you're going to fracture yourself. Now, why is it that you're saying, I think somebody might be thinking, why can clarity feel like grief? Grief is not just about death. No. Grief is not about death alone. It's about endings. Clarity ends things. Clarity ends a lot. Clarity ends stories, the wrong stories you've been telling yourself. Right? Clarity ends justifications. The reason why I am what I said I am. Clarity will end that. Clarity ends emotional safety nets. Safety nets you build for yourself. If this doesn't happen, this will happen. Clarity ends that. Clarity ends familiar dysfunction. I've been talking about familiarity for a number of days, and I even did a video. We did a live on familiarity being an enemy of. So please, if you have not seen that, go check that on my channel. There's a video on familiarity. Now, clarity can feel like grief because you grieve the time you can't get back. When you now know what you've missed, you now know the changes you make. May I ask what the topic is? Oh, Mika, the topic is clarity is a gift, but it can hurt. So we've been talking about clarity. We've been doing a series all this while. So if you're new here, yeah, you're in the middle of it. We've been doing a series for long, and it's all about clarity. So today we're talking about clarity is a gift, but clarity can hurt. At this point, we do believe that if clarity is not properly harnessed, when you're clear, it becomes difficult. So in the phase of transition, one of the things that you grieve is the time you can't get back. It's like now you're saying, Matt, now I know where I am. I know where I'm going to. One of the grief is, oh, I wasted all this time. Do you mean I wasted all this time? You see the time you can't get back. You see the version of you that you didn't know. So I could be this better, right? You see yourself asking, could I be this better? Or the relationship you hope would have changed. So all these things are things you grieve when you become clear. Or the future you imagined. And I've always said that the systems we live in, whether religious system, whether the system of the world, makes us want to think that this world is a la-la land. They want you to think that, oh, you don't need to make plans. You just need to assume. So this is a new year. Just think, oh, better things will come. What's going to be with time. Time doesn't reveal the betterness. Time actually reveals what you have inside of you. So if you don't have a plan, time will reveal an unplanned future. Right? If you don't have goals to drive towards, time will reveal a goalless future. So that's why we've been talking about these things all this while, to kind of give people some view into what should be and what is possible. All right, grief doesn't mean you're weak. Right? When you're grieving over the future you imagine, what you've missed, it doesn't mean you're weak. It means something mattered. I did say that when you're grieving about something, it means it's a signal. It means something mattered. And clarity tells you exactly what mattered. Like I always do say, when we have a topic like this, there's something that I always put forward. What not to do with the pain of clarity. You're already clear. You've wasted years. You've missed some days. You've missed who you could be. At this point, you know what you need, and you know where you need to get to. What not to do with the pain of clarity. This is very critical. Now, do not weaponize clarity against yourself. Now, clarity can be a two-edged sword. You know, if you weaponize it, it becomes a problem for you. Do not say things like, I was stupid. I wasted my life. No. That is the tuition you have to pay. That is the cost you have to pay to get here. I should have known better. So yesterday, in the live I had yesterday night, one of the things I talked about is, if you see your old self, if you run into your old self, what will you say to your old self? Will you yell at your old self and say, you wasted time? Why didn't you look at this to be clear? Or will you tell your old self, thank you for holding me to this point where I can now see clearly? It's a choice you have to make. Yelling at your old self doesn't give you any result. It doesn't give you any result. Realizing with your old self, that your old self helped you get to this point, gives you all the results you need. When you start saying things like, I was stupid, I wasted my life, I should have known better, that voice is not accountable. That's not accountability talking. It is shame wearing intelligence. Shame is putting on the clothes of intelligence. You're just shaming yourself. Clarity should make you responsible, not ruthless. It shouldn't make you self-sabotage. It shouldn't make you put a gun to your head. That's not the purpose of clarity. But a lot of people at this point, they do that because they now see what the time they've wasted. They now see the kind of life they live. They're like, how come a whole me, lived like this? All right? Pain is not proof that clarity was a mistake. No. Pain is proof that clarity touched something real. Clarity got inside and touched something real. Now, another thing I like to look out for is how do I carry clarity so that it doesn't collapse or so that I don't collapse? Here's the truth most people need. You don't need to do anything yet. I said that yesterday. You don't need to do anything yet. Once you are clear, once you have clarity, you know exactly where you stand. You don't need to do anything yet. You need to stabilize. What you need now is stability. You need to stabilize. All right? You carry clarity slowly. Let it settle. Let your nervous system catch up with clarity. Ask questions like, what am I feeling now that I wasn't allowing before? What am I no longer pretending about? What does this awareness, this clarity require from me eventually, not immediately? You see, a lot of people at this point, they get so tied into trying to make amends that they run into what I will call making a lot of mistakes. Clarity is a seed. Seeds are buried before they grow. Don't rush it. Sit down. Sit with yourself. Sit with it. Let it settle. Understand your clarity. Don't rush it. Let your nervous system catch up. Ask good questions like, what am I feeling now that I wasn't allowing before? Now that I am clear. Matt, I am now clear about my life. Okay, what are you now feeling? What are you no longer pretending about? You've left the world of pretense now. You're now clear. So what are you no longer pretending? Don't rush. That's what I'm saying, because when you do, it becomes a burden. This is a point I call redefining healing after clarity. Healing is not excitement, you know that. It's integration. It's learning how to live honestly without becoming bitter, you know. Learning how to live honestly without becoming bitter. Aware, you know, without becoming cynical. Truthful without becoming cruel. That's what healing is. You don't heal by rushing to the next chapter. No. When you are clear about your life, when you're clear about yourself, when you're clear about where you are today and where you're going to, you don't need to rush. You need to actually heal. You know, you need to be truthful without being cruel. You don't heal by rushing to the next chapter. You heal by honoring what just ended. Now you're clear about your life. Clarity is not the finish line, friends. It is not. It is not the finish line. It is the doorway. It is the doorway. Hey, Manton, how you doing, sir? Is the doorway. Let me say this slowly, because somebody needs to hear this clearly. If clarity has made you emotional, you are not ungrateful. If awareness has made you tired, you're not weak. If seeing the truth hurt more than you expected, nothing has gone wrong. You didn't fail clarity. Clarity is just doing its job. The pain is not here to punish you, no. It is here to transition you. I said there's a transition phase in this thing. When you now become clear with your life, where you are, where you're going to, what you need to do, there is a phase where you're no longer fitting into the mold you used to fit, but you're no longer yet completed the mold that you need to complete. So you are now in between molds, right? That is a transition period. And clarity is not here to shame you. Clarity is here to help you transition properly. All right. Next time, we'll be talking about how to sit with the truth without running from it. Now you have seen the truth. Now you understand clarity. Now you know what it means to be here and what it means to be where you want to get to. How do you now sit with the truth without running away from it? Because the goal is not just to see clearly. No, that's not the goal. I did say clarity is not the finish line, but to stay whole while you do. You need to stay whole while you do. While you see clear, you need to stay whole. Stay with this series, my friends. You're not alone in this season. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you for listening to us. And if you're not watching live, kindly go watch the videos. We have a ton of videos in our channel. You can subscribe and watch and let us know what you think about them. Thank you so much. I'll see you guys later in the evening. This is Matt Miller signing out. Bye for now.